Hello, how you guys doing? So this is the final product for creativity in entrepreneurship, and I thought about something that that was personal to me. Uh, I got married 2 years ago with my wife from Colombia. Uh, I met her there, and I brought her over here, and I did all the paperwork for her to be legal here in the United States. And she started school and she started to learn English here in the United States. And through her, I met a lot of people that come here uh, with different circumstances to come to the United States. And a lot of people met somebody online or met somebody, uh, like a lot of people from the United States went on vacation somewhere and found somebody they love and got married or are in the process of getting married. And and they were at that school where my wife goes, and there's a lot of people that have a lot of questions: how to do all the paperwork, what kind of paperwork do they need. Uh, it's something that is very that worries a lot of people a lot to be here to come to the United States and be legally. So I wanted to talk about the process that I went with my wife, that I'm still going on with her, and what everything that I have learned in the last 2 years, and I wanted to make it personal. I wanted to tip, give tips to people that will find this valuable because they know exactly what to do, and most important thing is that if you hire a lawyer to do all this paperwork, it's extremely expensive. So I'm teaching here on how to do it for cheap. I mean, you still have to pay for these forms, but you don't have to pay a lawyer to print the form on the computer. You can get the form yourself. You can fill it up yourself, and and you can do everything yourself. And it's gonna take pretty much the same time. And you're gonna save a lot of money. That you can take that money and put that money towards something else. So the intended audience, like I said, is the people that are in that process. In the process, they either they're getting married and they need to get immigration here, or they already married and they don't know how to start the process, or they're here on a visa and their visa is expiring, and they want to get married and they want to do something to stay here legally. And and I think what all of this that I'm talking about, the several things that I can see that I can use, or different techniques that I use from class to put into this job, is sensing gaps. There's a gap. There's a lot of people that don't know how to do it. There's a lot of people that are struggling. They don't know, or they don't have money, or like I said earlier, they don't have money, or they don't know how to start. So this is a good way to start the process. And I'm using convergent thinking because I already know exactly all the different pieces that we need, and tactical thinking too, because there are forms that you can start earlier that I didn't do earlier because I didn't know, but there are forms that you can start earlier, and that way you win time, you gain time. So the first thing that you do is you have to get married. When you get married, you need a marriage license, and you need your certificate to get married. Don't pay anybody. You don't need to pay anybody. You can go to Hillsborough County to the court, or you can go to Pinellas County Court. The forms are there. You fill that form, and right there they can even marry you. So it costs you not much. It costs you maybe $40 or $50 to get married right there. When you have that marriage certificate, when you have that marriage license that you are already married, the first thing that you can do, the first form that you have to fill is the I-485. Is the application to register for permanent residency or to adjust the status. And that's the first form. And that form is $1,000. It's $1,000. And this form, uh, This form is extremely important. It's like 10 pages long, but you can do it all yourself. So somebody is the beneficiary. The beneficiary is the person that's coming to stay here in the United States. And somebody is the petitioner. And the petitioner in this case was me. And the petitioner for the form that you're gonna do is gonna be whoever is petitioning, whoever is the United States citizen. So they do this form. You just have to put your information. You have to put what do you do here, what kind of job do you have, how much do you make. And all this is just really personal information. It's not really bad. It's a 9-page form, but if you hire a lawyer, the lawyer is going to charge you $1,000 for the form, plus another $2,000 or $3,000 to like start all this process. When you can just pay the $1,000 and be done. At the same point that you can do this form, the I-485. By the way, all these forms you can find them online. You can find them at the USCIS.com. And USCIS stands for United States Citizenship and Immigration Services. You go to and then you type forms, and then you have all these forms. So as you do this I-485, you can actually do an I-765. I-765 is the application for employment authorization. So you can send these two forms at the same time. One goes so you can apply for your residency, and then the other one is for your employment. So you're here, you're a husband and you're a wife. Maybe the husband is working already, the wife is not working, or the wife is working and the husband is not working. You can get them to start working here. That's what happened. That's what I did with my wife. I was the only one working, and my wife wanted like a part-time job so she could start working here in the United States. So we did this form, but I did the form after I received the response from the I-485. It took like 6 months. But if you send both forms at the same time, that I-75 in 2 weeks you have a response, and in less than a month you already have your permit to work. So that's something extremely important that you need to do. You need to apply for the I-485 or for the I-765 application for employment authorization. So after you do those two, they normally ask you for after they receive all these forms, they're gonna approve it. If they approve it, they ask the person that is the beneficiary that is becoming a United States resident, they ask to do an I-693. An I-693 is a report of medical examination and vaccination record. So they want to make sure that you're healthy. They want to make sure that you have all your vaccines, and that you're not risk for the United States of America. So this form, you have to go to this special lab, and you have to see the special doctors that work next to the USCIS, to the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services, and they'll do your exam, they'll do your vaccines, they do everything, and they get you ready for the next step. So this form is the I-693, report of medical examination and vaccination record. The next form that they asked me, because this new person that just come to the United States is not working, is not making any money. So you, the petitioner, you have to do an I-134, an affidavit of support. I-134 affidavit of support. This is another form where you, as the beneficiary, you have to put, or you as the petitioner, you have to put again why you are applying for the petitioner, for the beneficiary, and then what do you have to make sure that you can respond for this person economically. So you have to put if you have any assets, you have to put how much you make, how many jobs you have, if you have money coming up from another countries, and things like that. It's an affidavit of support. It's like a 4 or 5 page long. It's not really big, and it costs like $70. By the way, the other forms, the application for employment for authorization, that's for free. The report of medical examination and vaccination record, you have to pay the the people that where you go and do your exams. It was almost like $300. And this affidavit of support is free. You just have to pay. You just have to mail it. I mean, it will cost you $1 or $2 for the stamp to mail it. So that's the next form. After they do this affidavit of support, they schedule you for an eye-to-eye meeting with somebody that works at the immigration office, where they ask you, okay, you guys have been married. How long have you guys been married? How did you met? Do you have pictures of when you got married? Tell me about fights that you had. So they just want to make sure that you are married with this person and that you're not lying, because there's a lot of people that lie. And there's a lot of people that do all these forms and they do it for money, and they get married for money, so they make money. And because to be here, they want to be here legally in the United States. So they just want to make sure that you're married, that you're actually married. You need pictures, you need to bring them pictures, maybe a video, maybe like a card that you gave yourselves, like, or even sometimes you can give her a kiss in front of the person. So it's just, they just want to make sure that you're a couple. So after that, they give you, after you go on that appointment, like a month or two later, you receive your temporary residence in the mail. This temporary residence on the mail lasts for 2 years. So in 2 years now, what I'm doing right now is we are doing an I-698. This I-698 is the application to adjust status from temporary to permanent resident. This and permanent resident lasts for 10 years. So they want to make sure those 2 years they gave you a temporary residence because they want to make sure that you stay here, that you went to school, that you started school, that you started working, that you started living in the United States. If from those 2 years they know that you're a resident but you haven't lived in the United States, or you haven't been here at least every 6 months in the United States, and you have spent money or you have work, then there's a chance that they might not give you the permanent resident. So this is the next step that I'm going forward right now. I know that, for example, right now with Trump administration and all of that, they are being harder on all of this paperwork and on all of these forms. Let's say, for example, that you're marrying somebody and the person that you're marrying has kids, or they have a mother, or they have a brother or a sister, they have family. You can also ask for another form. This form is the I-130 petition for alien relative. In my case, my wife has a daughter, so we had to do this form too. But this form, you have to wait until the person is resident. So as soon as my wife became resident of the United States, we started this form, I-130 petition for alien relative. And it took like a year and a half. This petition for alien relative was $700 to bring her daughter over here. And her daughter is actually coming like in 2 weeks for her first time to the United States. She's coming to visit here. So those are all the forms that you need. That's the route that I went. There are several routes, but my route I thought was really good route. And if you do all these forms, how I told you, in a year and a half, that person is going to be a resident, and in 2 years, that person and their brother or their sister or their daughter are going to be residents too, and they're going to be able to be here in the United States. And it costs you maybe $2,000-$3,000. Everything together, just you did it yourself. You didn't have to pay anybody. If you have to pay somebody, it can cost you up to $10,000. So this is very valuable for people because I'm saving people time, I'm saving people money, and I'm saving people the hassle of knowing which forms they need. So those are all the forms you need. The money, like I told you, is not much compared to what you what you have to pay, compare if you hire a lawyer. And I think that's it. I have sensing gaps, statistical thinking, and convergent thinking. Good luck doing all your immigration papers. Bye bye.